when you go to Virginia or you go to some places, like I'll just give you an example. Virginia DMV is not the worst experience in the world, but I was down in Florida at the DMV and it was actually, okay. However, if you try to go to the DMV in New Jersey, it's a nightmare. What effects are these governors having in these different states? Are we going to see? Everybody's leaving New Jersey and New York, but are we going to see that? Is that going to help the country, or what do you? I mean, you know what I'm getting at. What breakout?
If they actually have the political courage to do it and reject the premise, because this is not. I mean, I talk about American Leviathan. I focus primarily on the federal government, and that Leviathan, it's fed into the various states where there's obviously this massive bureaucracy that I think is weighing down the various states. And then you see, aggressive governors saying, we're not going to do this anymore, conservative governors. So I think you just need we need more people that have the political courage to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. We're going to reduce the size of government. We're going to reduce the regulatory state. We're not going to have all these unelected bureaucrats being the one making the decisions. So it could be a feeding down. If Trump shows, I think courageous is it's infectious. And courage leads to more courage. If Donald Trump can start to do this at the federal level, I think you're going to see more of these governors hopefully stepping up to the plate going, yeah, that's a great move at the federal level. We should be doing this at the state level because the American people actually need a government of, by, and for the people. I mean, that's the basic premise of a republic, right? All power flows from the people to their duly elected representatives, who they make the stewards of the power and money given to them, to actually create a government that actually benefits the American people first and last in all things. And I think if Trump can do that at the federal level, I think you start to see some of these governors doing the same thing at the state level.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think one of the things I do like about Glenn Youngkin in Virginia is when he talks. And it's very interesting because I live in New Jersey. And in Virginia, we have a private equity guy in Youngkin who basically is trying to put this through. In New Jersey, we have a Goldman Sachs guy. Murphy's a Goldman Sachs guy.
Right.
Goldman Sachs guy was in Hong Kong. Spent a lot of time in Hong Kong. Talks about how much he likes Hong Kong. He's expanded the administrative state here.
Right.
And to me, what it is I know this man knows better. In other words, I know Murphy's been sitting at Goldman Sachs, and of course they have their own politics. But internally, as an institution, Goldman Sachs is a pretty efficient place. You know what I'm saying? Not much dead weight sitting around there. But he comes here.
Yeah, no, it's easy. I think it's, so my dad was in the House for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I just remember really interesting conversations with him about this system that's in place in DC seeks to conform you to its image. And unless you have some really strong principles and have the courage to say, I'm not going to go along or reject the premise, it does conform you to its image eventually. And over the course of time, you become a reflection of that system. And I think you see some of that because it's a much easier path to go down. I'll be honest.
Ned,
I think that's why you see a lot of Republican congressmen just going, it's probably not the right thing to do, but it's much easier. And besides, I'm an expert in self-preservation. If I really fight this too hard, I might not be able to come back in 2 years. So I'm just going to go along with it for now and just continue to fund the state blindly.
I'm going to give you a compliment. I hope you take it the right way. You know who said the exact same thing that you're saying? And I know you're as a DC guy. Jack can't cook. I had, for some bizarre reason, a relationship through there. And Jack Kent Cook said one time in the group that I was standing around, and he said, look, I'm rich. I'm loaded.
Yeah.
There's nothing they can do to me. You know what I'm saying? And he said, but all you other guys, you got to bend. You got to do your things. I still remember that. It's the other reason, too, when you talk about Republicans, and us. I mean, I always look back at Joe the plumber, and I always say, here's Joe the plumber. He's in a career. What really struck me about that is Obama couldn't touch him. It's the same thing with these comedians. One of the reasons why I think comedians are becoming the modern, really public speakers in politics, they're really hard to hit financially. In other words, a comedian can go out, fill a club, unless they're literally knocking on the door with the German-style helmets, knocking that door down. That guy's going to sell. He's going to sell 1,000 tickets at $25 each. He's going to make $1 million a year just doing his thing. So what I'm really encouraged by is that you're there. I know it's tough what you're doing, but I really appreciate it and approve it. Approve of it in many ways. I think more people have to learn that, because I think your message to me is, I tell people all the time, I really worry, like you say, that the regulatory state, my kids are in there. I got 123, 120, 120, 120. Kristen's got the little ones. I don't know what your kids are, but I mean, the thing is that I worry that they're going to walk into a world that basically, that the regulatory state has taken over, that, they're looking at jobs. My kids are already sensing that there are certain jobs off limits for them. I had a talk with a young woman the other day. She's in her early 20s. She was applying for a major journalism job. She is Asian American, basically born in the States. She told me she could literally feel not being, that they're not interested in her at these major, she has the dream. I want to work at the New York Times. I want to work at all these other, they're just not interested in her.
Never going to happen.
Not interested in her. It's not going to happen. And I think she's going to end up in law school, but she's been trying for a while. She's very bright. She was even going to take, I said, look, go be a crime reporter. I said, literally, go to the new, and then get your credentials and go up. And she said, it's just so hard. But her first experience was through an internship program, and she's in there, and she looked over, and people from her school, good school, they weren't getting in, but certain people were. And I think that's the way of the future if we don't watch out.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, first of all, again, I don't call them media. I call them corporate propagandists. They're not meant to be about the truth or facts or anything. They're meant to amplify the approved narrative. I'm starting to think, and this might sound harsh, but I'm just going to say it anyway. You can't be an intelligent free thinker and be in the corporate propagandist ranks, because you might start to ask questions about, it doesn't sound like the truth. Is that really what's taking place? You have to actually do whatever you're being told to do to actually report, to amplify the approved narrative. You can't be intelligent. You can't actually be a free thinker to be part of these corporate propagandist ranks. That's why, Trump has to win.